are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Yes, there were technical difficulties on my side. Clearly trying to get materials together. So we will be speaking about, for a little while, we will be speaking about that Manosphere documentary, which Mr. Z didn't watch on Netflix. Z, how you gonna be reviewing the thing and you ain't watch it? I'm gonna watch it. This is our before review, right? So if y'all click the link in the description box, you will see we listened to the lady who did watch it. Yawn. So we're doing a before review. What is a before review? How you gonna review it and you ain't watch it? I hear you. With that, we still can talk about the fuel for the red pill. Why is there a manosphere? What assists the manosphere? And why is there a red pill? So Mr. Z might be changing the title for this a little bit, right? After the stream, the fuel for the red pill and the fuel for the manosphere, or the fuel for the red pill and the manosphere, right? Although we're part of the black manosphere, which is different, right? Because we don't care necessarily about dominating and crushing everybody under our heel like the white dudes do, but still. So we will be playing a clip. We will be playing a clip from Instagram with this young lady speaking, and I actually want to address a lot of what she said. So let's get underway. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you button, hype button, please and thank you. Y'all continue to sign up for those memberships. Once we get to 25 members, we will be doing our members only lives, our members first, pre-records, etc., etc. All right, continuing.
So I just watched the Manosphere Netflix documentary that just came out. What those male influencer guys are selling to young men is genuinely very dangerous.
I don't care who you are, every single person on this planet needs to go watch the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary that just came out on Netflix. It's really not that long, and I'll summarize it here for you today, but as someone who has been studying the Manosphere for years now, because it has heavily impacted my life, and I knew it would eventually impact every woman's life on this planet, I'm impressed with how quickly and with empathy he got to the root of the problem I have been screaming for years. I don't think I have to explain this part, but the Manosphere, or as a lot of people call it, the red pill pipeline, which we will get into, is a term for misogynistic male influencers who conduct a large audience of young men. And there are really two main takeaways he found that everything falls under. One of the biggest ones is that after interviewing some of the top guys in this industry, he discovered that they almost all grew up in very traumatic childhood homes, mostly without a stable father figure. And you really can tell because immediately when Louis Theroux, the nerd of all nerds, walks on the scene, all of these men become extremely insecure and very nervous. And instead of going to therapy and getting help for all of that, they are projecting all of their trauma onto young men, which would explain why a lot of what they preach is a toxic distrust of traditional systems, because the traditional home failed them as a child. They also exploit this wound in a lot of their audience to preach a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. And the main one they preach is that the traditional 9-to-5 values life is like the Matrix pyramid scheme that men are trapped in, where people from the top benefit off of them. And it teaches them that feminism is designed to work against them, so if they just take the red pill, they'll be saved, which is an excellent way to deflect any accountability, which is what's maybe most ironic, because then they set up their own pyramid schemes and coaching systems or whatever to funnel these young men directly into. And as Louis Theroux discovered when going and looking up all the brokers and trying to use these systems to make money the way they promise these young men, they lost all the money they invested in it. You probably already guessed the hypocrisy that applies there also applies to their views on women and dating. It's very ironic that they openly preach that they hate you-know-what models while still owning entire groups that manage them, and then sell them back to these young men and then teach those young men to hate those women. And when he really started questioning and pressing these men on these double standards, they all started folding quickly. And in a genius move, he brought their girlfriends or mothers into the conversation, and the moment a woman they respected was around, they switched up their tune immediately. And they openly admitted that they don't practice what they preach, and all of what they sell is actually just to make money. Which brings us to big point number 2. They pretty much admit that everything they're selling these young men is a lie, because it's a clickbait economy, and that's how they make money. I mean, obviously most of the men were single. This guy's girlfriend left him in the middle of the documentary because she didn't realize the extent of all of this. And the men who did have girls in their videos admitted what I've been saying for years, is that offline they don't actually practice what they preach to these young men, because if they did, they wouldn't get girls. They intentionally give these young men bad advice so that they stay in their pyramid schemes.
Madam, I dare y'all to find out who Z is and bring Mr. Z's mom in front of him and see if Mr. Z don't say the exact same things to your faces with the camera rolling. I will stand on everything I done said on this channel with the cameras rolling. Y'all picked the meatheads of the manosphere. Let me say this in no uncertain terms. The reason why your sons and the young men come over here is not because of the algorithm. It's not. The reason why the young men come over here is because of videos like this. And yes, Mr. Z is going to be spamming the hell out of this video tonight.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you single?
Yes,
Why are you single right now?
because the men are not enough rich to take care of me.
So you're looking for a rich man.
Yes, I want to be spoiled.
Why does he have to be rich?
Because I want to be spoiled. Because I make my own money and I need to be dominated.
That is why there is a manosphere. Because everything y'all told the young men, everything you said to the young men in school, on television shows, all this airy-fairy whimsical crap. These young men come out here and they're dating in high school, they're dating in college, they're dating out of college, and they're getting their head taken off by women practicing foodie call. They're running into women like who I just played. That's not a small minority of women. I make my own, and the men are not rich enough. I need to be dominated financially. Yes, most women won't say it. They'll just act it out. They won't say it. They'll just play it. Mr. Z Ramen. Huh? The fuel for the red pill in the manosphere are your own daughters, America. Huh? The fuel for the manosphere are women like this.
Y'all stop falling for the okie doke. Y'all are too. I don't understand. I don't understand the women of today. Y'all are too nice. I mean, if you don't look like Quasimodo, if you ain't the ugliest thing walking, you don't have to be nice as a woman. Okay? You don't have to be super nice. You don't have to be some kind, nurturing being to someone that's not going to treat you the exact same. Okay? And some of y'all are walking around here doing the most, being super nice, getting manipulated by these guys and all this kind of stuff because y'all are people pleasers. When you stop being a people pleaser, you win. Okay? When you stop caring what other people think, you win. When you stop feeling sorry for people, you win. Okay? So stop feeling sorry for people. That's not your job. Only people you're supposed to feel sorry for are your kids when they little.
Women like this get to be antisocial, and y'all might make a blink and you'll miss it comment about it, and y'all let it roll. She gets to have a platform where she's antisocial, encouraging other women, namely black women, but other women, because I've heard white women and Latina women mention her name, other women to be antisocial. She gets to encourage women to be antisocial, and y'all say nothing. Women like this help to fuel the manosphere in the red pill. Huh? The Shira Sevens of the world. And Saint Cyr says, well, to be honest, and Fairzy, you don't fall into the Andrew Tate, Sneeko, and Myron category. And that's exactly why they wouldn't interview someone like me. See, Myron is a joke. Sneeko is a joke. Y'all don't even know how to frame it correctly. I could have had that dude stumbling, bumbling, and crumbling. Easy. The second women start talking about their height preference, we got their ass. The second they start saying things like they want men that earn more than them, we got their ass. Now we got to start horse trading. What, she gets to be hypocritical and I don't? Now scale that. Huh? They interviewed the comics, the comedians of the goddamn manosphere, the jokes, the pro wrestlers, essentially. Huh? KMS Ramen. I got you, KMS. Let me read this one now. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe to the super chat. And KMS said, oh man, I have to actually say the word. Okay. KMS said, if the host acted right, we would close up shop tonight. Mr. Z Ramen. And it is true. Huh? It is true. It is 100% true. The fuel for the manosphere are the women. Your young men are listening to women their age, and adult women sound absolutely insane. Exhibit B.
Being mean to men, being a woman with your own motion, being a woman with your own life, being a woman that actually has her own life outside of a man, and she ain't think about a man, and a man is just, extra if she feel like she want to deal with him, makes men like you more. Men love mean women and women who have motion. The nicer you are, the sweeter you are to them, the more you engulf yourself in them, the more that they will mistreat you. And I've been mean to men since I was a little girl. Like, I remember boys telling me, like, you are so mean, but they could never stay away from me. And I think I knew, like, innately as a little girl that men and boys were full of shit. Like, I could pick up on that energy very early on. And like, I come from a family of mean women, like women who get what they want. They stand on their boundaries, and men love them. They've been married, divorced, remarried, whatever, but they get what they want. Being mean to a man and having boundaries with a man is going to get you what you want if you choose to deal with them.
Videos like that. Now, of course, the framing is always some type of we're responding to men's misogyny. It's always we're responding to men's misogyny. That's how they get to hide and obscure their sexism towards men. It's always, he hit me first. Huh? But this young lady is advocating for women to be mean to men. Now scale that. Huh? Now scale that. What we have is the young men running into the hypocrisy of women's hypergamy. And we're watching as this society continues to wag its finger at the young men, at the young men, and blame the algorithm, and blame the podcast bros, and the manosphere, and the red pill. Oh, the misogyny. Huh? No, your sons are running into women, well, who sound like this.
So how do you feel about dating a man who doesn't make a lot of money? Like, you make way more than them. Are you cool with that?
I would have been okay with that, but now I value myself so much, and it's not really about the money. It's about how you're going to be able to provide.
What if he's taking care of the kids, like a stay-at-home dad? He's cooking and cleaning.
That just wouldn't happen in my life.
Just, you wouldn't be down with that?
No, absolutely not. I feel like they're really in their feminine when they're doing that and not in their masculine.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Mr. Z getting quiet. But notice what he said there. He eliminated all the talks of not practicing emotional labor, not cooking, so that's domestic labor within the home. He's saying the things, and he's purposely taking away all of the things off the table that is often complained about. Let me say this again, what I said this morning. In this current environment, for working class men, for lower middle class men, and for working poor men, they cannot emotionally intelligent their way out of women's hypergamy. They can't domestic labor their way out of women's hypergamy. Right? What is sold to working class men is, the women done caught up. financially, and even for some of you, the women might out earn you. She might have more education than you. So what we're going to need you to do is kind of make up for it by being help at the home and practicing in domestic labor and being emotionally intelligent and being likable and having a personality and being understanding. And the problem with that is that the women talk a good game until they're presented with those men in earnest. See, it wouldn't be a problem if it was one or two women. The problem is when you scale that. Play it again, Z.
So how do you feel about dating a man who doesn't make a lot of money? Like, you make way more than them. Are you cool with that?
I would have been okay with that, but now I value myself so much, and it's not really about the money. It's about how you're going to be able to provide.
What if he's taking care of the kids, like a stay-at-home dad? He's cooking and cleaning.
That just wouldn't happen in my life.
You wouldn't be down with that?
No, not absolutely not. I feel like they're really in their feminine when they're doing that and not in their masculine.
Wow. Once again, it's not masculine. See, what often happens is these people are going to talk about internalized misogyny and, it's the patriarchy. No, the women say they not going, which wouldn't be the end of the world, except they're the ones who have the children. Oh boy. At least for now. Shout out to science. Huh? It wouldn't be the end of the world, except for the fact that the women are the ones who have the children. In a weird way, they are holding their wombs hostage for the elite men. Huh? And Pastor OG says salad bar feminism. That it is. Let me get a little bit of patriarchy here. Oh, and a little bit of feminism there. And just a little light dressing of egalitarianism so it can look like I'm actually doing something. Oh, let me get you know what? Let me get more of that patriarchy. Let me get more of that patriarchy. Huh? Oh, what are we going to call it? We're just going to call it being a good person. That's what this salad is going to be called. Being a good person. Although he's the one who opens doors for me and holds them open, I don't do that for him. And he opens the car door for me and he pulls out my chair and I don't do that for him. But he's just being a good person, don't you know? That has nothing to do with the patriarchy and being a gentleman and being chivalrous. That's passé. Huh? I can open my own door, but I prefer he do it. But that has nothing to do with patriarchy and gentlemen and chivalry. Huh? No, Pastor OG. A real man, not as far left as we're going. No, black women could still say that. And not even all of them, but the more arrived, more seasoned, more educated, more cultured women, there is no talk of a real man. No, you're just a good person, right? You're understanding, you're attentive, you're emotionally intelligent, you're likable, you have personality, right? Because saying a good man, what is a man anyway? Right? Saying a good man, is there any such thing as a good man? And then isn't that kind of like gender essentialist, because then we're saying what a man should be doing and how he should comport himself? No, you're just a good person. Even though me as a woman, I would never do that for you. Huh? That's where we are. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat, being mean to the wrong man can get you in a co-ed tennis match at the US Open. I remember what you were saying with that. I remember. Makes it even funnier, right? And talking about that, KMS, let the young lady just admit it outright.
Unfortunately, when it comes to my man, I cannot take what I dish out. I be so mean to my man, but the one minute he raised his voice or even seemed like he upset with me, I just start busting out crying. Because no, you're not about to, like, no, you're not about to do that to me. No. I don't care. No, I cannot take what I dish out. No, 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 no. Don't do that to me. No, no, no. I've been talking about his whole motherfucking family, cuss everybody out. But if he even say like one little thing, I will bust out in tears. Like, please don't do that. Like, please, no. No, 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 no. I can't handle it. Like, I really can't handle it.
And this young lady actually says it. She just straight up call it out, call the hypocrisy out. This is women, right? The young lady just said, I can't handle it. Look, I'm gonna talk to you crazy. I'm gonna curse you and your family out, but I need you not to do the same thing. Which, you know, wouldn't be the end of the world, maybe possibly, if we would acknowledge the double standard. Huh? That men are to be stoic and women not. But then we would start having the horse trade. Then we're going to start having to choose, okay, with hypocrisy, or am I okay with it? What are you okay with it? And then what we going to do with it? We can't do that at scale. No. Huh? KMS says, once again, being mean to the wrong man can get you in a co-ed tennis match at the US Open. This young lady said, I don't want it. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk crazy to you. I just don't want you to bring that same energy over here. Do not hit me with the same energy. Do not respond with the same energy. Huh? At least the young lady said it. And thank you for the super chat, KMS. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah. This is why the red pill exists. This is why the manosphere exists. Because these type of uncomfortable parts of the conversation between men and women, this is where the right doesn't want to go, but the left definitely don't want to go here. Because these women aren't well rehearsed. They're not sticking to the script. Men bad, men sexist, women who think like this, internalized misogyny. See, this is the part of the conversation that we know a lot of women, white, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise, subscribe to, but you're not supposed to say it in polite company. Huh?
Unfortunately, when it comes to my man, I cannot take what I dish out. I be so mean to my man, but the one minute he raised his voice or even seemed like he upset with me, I just start busting out crying. Because no, you're not about to, like, no, you're not about to do that to me. No. I don't care. No, I cannot take what I dish out. No. Don't do that to me. No. I've been talking about his whole motherfucking family, cuss everybody out. But if he even say like one little thing, I will bust out in tears. Like, please don't do that. Like, please, no. No. I can't handle it. Like, I really can't handle it.
Once again, the young men see these women speaking. The men see the women speaking. You realize in the manosphere and in the red pill space, we give our commentary, true indeed. But you know we don't have to. We could all start channels 24/7 and play nothing but the women in their own words, and this is how they sound. The fuel for the red pill and the fuel for the manosphere is women. It's women, right? And let me address this now. And KMS says, how can we access your membership? Vince, if you don't mind telling KMS how you can access it, because Vince is a member. Vince was my second member. Shout out to Els Active. Els Active was the first member, and Vince was the second. Vince will explain it in the comments, right? But the fuel for the manosphere, you know, you mentioned Myron Gaines, who Mr. Z is not a fan of. Once again, Mr. Z been calling Myron a weirdo for like 4 years, 5 years now. About 4 years, right? So appreciate, we've been calling Myron a weirdo for a long time, but you know what happens on the Fresh and Fit channel that y'all will not acknowledge? You know the type of conversations that get kind of uncomfortable? You want to know what it sound like? Play the clip, Z. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
You said, yeah, but why would I want to be with a bum, right? Say that again? What did you say?
Why would I want to be with a bum?
How come no man in this room has ever said that about a girl they dated? Because you're all gold-digging skanks. We're romantic. We'll take a bum McDonald's worker. You couldn't do that. No woman's ever done that. You guys date up, we date down. That means every ex-boyfriend you've had was better than you. That's why you let him hit it. Because you guys date up. So you f***ed up a lot. Could you marry a Burger King employee?
I won't do that.
Could any girl here do it? Has any girl in history ever done it? You're all dirty gold diggers. Admit you're and you know what's funny? That's the point. You abandoned him. Why did you abandon him?
I need someone financially at my level
A leader.
or higher.
But what if you're married to a leader?
How come the men here don't mind if she's a bum? Because we're the romantic gender and you guys are of the devil. You don't even get God without a husband.
Yeah. Now, would I call them dirty? We'll say kinks. Will I call them that? No, that's not Mr. Z style. Would I even call them gold diggers to their face? No, that's not Mr. Z style. With that, the women did admit, and they had nothing for him when he was talking about who's dating down and who's dating up. You see, yes, it was a little bit loud. Mr. Z thinks he did a little too much, but was he wrong though? See, once again, this is the part of the conversation that gets uncomfortable and that the left doesn't really know what to do with it, right? The women are telling you and they're admitting, I need to date up. He doesn't make as much as me. He didn't make as much as me, and I left his ass. Huh? We got so many clips where the women are just saying it. Play the clip, Z. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
He don't got money like you at ESTG.
Why don't he?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's why I had it.
Just because he ain't had no money, you left him?
Had to.
That ain't right. I don't like that.
If he's making more money than me, I mean, if I'm making more money than him,
You should help him get some more money.
How am I gonna do that though? If I have my own career, I'm doing what I'm doing.
A woman's supposed to be a helpmate.
I feel like a man is supposed to be that for a girl.
A man's supposed to be a leader.
You right.
You're supposed to help him be a better leader.
I don't know. So I was in the wrong. Now I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy.
You looking for a daddy.
I ain't looking for a daddy. I got my own money. I got my own money. I could do what I do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need a guy for money.
But you want one.
I want a man to be stable. If I was to leave him, I want him to
So he wasn't stable?
He was okay, but I was making more than him.
So he was stable though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So why are you leaving then? You said you just want.
Because he wasn't doing better than me.
you go.
I need a guy doing better than me. And if he's not doing better than me, then
That is why there is a red pill. That is why there is a manosphere. There is a manosphere, there is a red pill for exactly what she said at the end. I need a man who's doing better than me. And if he's not doing better than me, then I'm out of here. The red pill exists because of parental alienation. Women hiding, ducking the kids, keeping the man away. The red pill exists because of our sons' lower test scores, reading levels. That is why there's a manosphere. That is why there's a red pill. The uncomfortable parts of the conversation, the female teachers preying on their students, having XXX bedroom fun with their male students, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, barely 18. The fuel for the red pill and the fuel for the manosphere are the women's behavior. It's the way the women speak. Mr. Z is commenting But Mr. Z could start a whole channel, have my subscribers send me videos, and we just play that 24/7. I find videos, my subscribers send me videos, and we just play the videos, and we wouldn't really have to repeat them either. Huh? Yeah. Why is there a manosphere? Why is there a red pill? It's not simply the algorithm. And we're going to play the anchor video for this stream once again, and then we're going to acknowledge our newest members.
So I just watched the Manosphere Netflix documentary that just came out. What those male influencer guys are selling to young men is genuinely very dangerous.
I don't care who you are, every single person on this planet needs to go watch the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary that just came out on Netflix. It's really not that long, and I'll summarize it here for you today, but as someone who has been studying the manosphere for years now because it has heavily impacted my life, and I knew it would eventually impact every woman's life on this planet, I'm impressed with how quickly and with empathy he got to the root of the problem I have been screaming for years. I don't think I have to explain this part, but the manosphere, or as a lot of people call it, the red pill pipeline, which we will get into, is a term for misogynistic male influencers who conduct a large audience of young men. And there are really two main takeaways he found that everything falls under. One of the biggest ones is that after interviewing some of the top guys in this industry, he discovered that they almost all grew up in very traumatic childhood homes, mostly without a stable father figure. And you really can tell because immediately when Louis Theroux, the nerd of all nerds, walks onto the scene, all of these men become extremely insecure and very nervous. And instead of going to therapy and getting help for all of that, they are projecting all of their trauma onto young men, which would explain why a lot of what they preach is a toxic distrust of traditional systems, because the traditional home failed them as a child. They also exploit this wound in a lot of their audience to preach a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. And the main one they preach is that the traditional 9-to-5 values life is like the Matrix pyramid scheme that men are trapped in, where people from the top benefit off of them. And it teaches them that feminism is designed to work against them, so if they just take the red pill, they'll be saved, which is an excellent way to deflect any accountability, which is what's maybe most ironic, because then they set up their own pyramid schemes and coaching systems or whatever to funnel these young men directly into. And as Louis Theroux discovered when going and looking up all the brokers and trying to use these systems who make money the way they promise these young men, they lost all the money they invested in it. You probably already guessed the hypocrisy that applies there also applies to their views on women and dating. It's very ironic that they openly preach that they hate you-know-what models while still owning entire groups that manage them, and then sell them back to these young men, and then teach those young men to hate those women. And when he really started questioning and pressing these men on these double standards, they all started folding quickly. And in a genius move, he brought their girlfriends or mothers into the conversation, and the moment a woman they respected was around, they switched up their tune immediately. And they openly admitted that they don't practice what they preach, and all of what they sell is actually just to make money. Which brings us to big point number 2. They pretty much admit that everything they're selling these young men is a lie because it's a clickbait economy, and that's how they make money. I mean, obviously most of the men were single. This guy's girlfriend left him in the middle of the documentary because she didn't realize the extent of all of this. And the men who did have girls in their videos admitted what I've been saying for years is that offline they don't actually practice what they preach to these young men, because if they did, they wouldn't get girls. They intentionally give these young men bad advice so that they stay in their pyramid schemes.
But the young men, many of them aren't getting girls in the first place. And the women they are coming across are mean and snarky and rude and sassy and mean and mean and mean and think it's warranted and mean. Huh? What is it? A third of young men under the age of 30 are not engaging in bedroom fun? It's not simply the algorithm, madam. It's women who sound like this.
In honor of me graduating college this week, I was like, you know what? We're gonna rip the band-aid off. We're gonna check our student loan debt. And I, kind of at a ballpark range, like I knew how much I owed, not down to like the exact dollar amount. I'm the type of person who gets nervous to check their bank account after a weekend out. So I took a look. I took a hard gander at exactly how much money I owe. I'm gonna die with it. Like, I can confidently say there wasn't even like a panic. It was just like my heart sank to my I'm gonna die with it. Like, I don't know any way I'm gonna be able to pay that off, other than selling my organs on the black market. This is why I don't understand why people shit on sugar babies, because like I could get this all paid off tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but you know what I mean, like within the year. If I just found a rich man and everyone's like, patriarchy, don't work for them. Ask not what you can do for the patriarchy, but what the patriarchy can do for you. If it benefits me, then maybe it's not the patriarchy, maybe it's just a helping hand.
If it benefits me, maybe it's not the patriarchy, maybe it's a helping hand. Ask not what you can do for the patriarchy, but what the patriarchy can do for you. Madam, that is why there is a red pill. That is why there is a manosphere. This part of the conversation that so many are so uncomfortable having, by telling their sons they will run into women trying to practice patriarchy by feminist specifications. Huh? Special, but at the same time simultaneously equal women. This is the part of the conversation that gets people squeamish, particularly on the left. It's when you play women and their hypocrisy, their sexism, their objectification of men.
New study says the reason fewer people are getting married is because there's a shortage of, quote, economically attractive men. The study from Cornell University says women aren't getting married because prospective husbands can't provide enough financial security.
It's your fault, gentlemen.
Smirking.
Al was kind of rolling his
Huh? Economically unattractive men are leading to a downturn in marriage. That is why there is a red pill. Huh? That is why there is a manosphere. It is said to men, to young men in particular, that the women just want a fair shake. They want equality with boys and men. They want a fair chance. And the women want equitable across the board. Now y'all saying equity. Not equality, but equity. Because equality was kicking y'all in the ass. Now you're talking about equity, which means y'all even the odds and y'all think of she started a little bit behind you, so we got to push her up so that she could start even. Okay. Of course. But then when the women are doing well, they're the ones who struggle to be with men who earn a bit less than them. Now, they might have some bedroom fun with that man. Once again, we're talking about at scale. This is not every person to a person. And we have the women in their own voice saying it.
You said, yeah, but why would I want to be with a bum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say that again. What did you say?
Why would I want to be with a bum?
How come no man in this room has ever said that about a girl they dated? Because you're all gold-digging skanks. We're romantic. We'll take a bum McDonald's worker. You couldn't do that. No woman's ever done that. You guys date up, we date down. That means every ex-boyfriend you've had was better than you. That's why you let him hit it. Because you guys date up. So you fucked up a lot. Could you marry a Burger King employee?
I won't do that.
Could any girl here do it? Has any girl in history ever done it? You're all dirty gold diggers. Admit you're scared. And
have.
you know what's funny?
I have.
That's the point. You abandoned him. Why did you abandon him?
I need someone financially at my level
A leader.
or higher.
But what if you're married?
And that's it right there. Let's be very clear. Mr. Z is not about triggering everyone with the grievance politics and the now we will show the woman in the effery, but it's too easy because they're saying it. She said she did date the Burger King guy, and he said, "Why did you abandon him?" Oops. And she said it because I need a man on my level or higher financially. Is she the only one that thinks like that? Shout out to KMS. Too much pain in the system. You scale her ideology, her mentality, her worldview, her ethos concerning men. And then you have a societal problem. And the young men are told to do what with that? Go find the women that don't think like that. Ooh, Z, don't say it. Which women don't think like that? Huh? Which women don't think like that?
If you are broke and I choose to deal with you, I will belittle you. It is what it is.
Huh? We have to accept that this is where we are. The red pill in the manosphere, the fuel for it are the women. It's the way they speak. It's the way they comport themselves. If power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, what has transpired in America in specific over the past 5 or so decades, 6 decades. Female liberation, female empowerment. Okay, cool. And what has been the fallout of that?
60% of 30-year-olds used to have at least one child 40 years ago. Now it's 27%. They can't afford to. And also, when you have a lot of young men who aren't economically viable, we don't like to have an honest conversation about mating. Men mate socioeconomically, horizontally and down, women horizontally and up. Beyonce could work at McDonald's and marry Jay-Z. The opposite is not true. 75% of women say economic viability is key to a mate, only 25% of men. So when men are not doing well economically, we have an absence of mating. We have an absence of what is the opportunity to do the most rewarding thing in the world, and that is build a family where you get to that point of building something with someone else. It's tough on women, but it is absolutely disastrous for men. It just makes me very upset and rattled to think that the most rewarding thing in my life is effectively off limits. Marriage is a new luxury item. 4/5 of people in the top quintile of income-earning households get married. Only 1 in 5 men in the lowest quintile ever have an opportunity to mate. Only 80% of women have reproduced in our species on the planet, only 40% of men. Women are disproportionately and unfairly evaluated on their aesthetics. Men are unfairly and disproportionately evaluated on their economic viability. And a society collapses on itself because those men get angry, and the most dangerous person in the world is a lonely, broke young man.
And there you go. See, what you would think the left would do is acknowledge the classism in this issue, and that the elites are still getting married and staying married. Stability, by the way, indication of stability. And when you start getting to working poor men and working class men, that's a different conversation. You would think the left would address this as a class issue. No, the left address it as a character issue concerning men, something they would never do concerning women. Uh-oh. The fuel for the red pill in the manosphere. Wait for it, is class anxiety. Uh-oh. So I don't get to have that? Huh? So I don't get to have the nuclear family. So I might not get to have children. So I might not get to be married to a woman who stays married to me and not divorce me because I left the toilet seat up one too many times. But the real reason why she's leaving me is because I don't make as much money as she want me to. Uh-oh. Number one reason for divorce got something to do with finances, and the women file for 70% of divorce. 90% of she's college educated. Well, damn. The fuel for the red pill is the women. The fuel for the manosphere, say it again, Z, is the women. Huh?
Oh, and another thing, stop being nice to these men. They don't want no nice woman. They want somebody that's mean to them. You over there trying to figure out what to do, helping him in situations and scenarios, things coming up in his life. You look like Pete Misha. That's what you look like. Don't help no grown man. Don't help no grown man. Hear me when I say this, and don't be nice to no grown man. Men love mean women. You being nice to him ain't gonna make him nice to you. All it's gonna do is make him act worse. So when he act up, you act wronger. It's not a word, but you need to do the most. Show him who's really in charge. You get what I'm saying? Men love when a woman is mean to them. Get out of that, oh, my heart just so good. You can have a good heart. You sure can. But be mean. And get what you want. I'm tired. I'm tired of y'all being nice. And nice gets you nowhere in this world. We see that on it. So if you were looking for a sign what to do today with that man, be mean to him. Get what you want out of him. Be mean to him. He gonna be lying and manipulating you anyways. Manipulate him back. Lie to him back. I don't know why y'all think men always tell the truth. Because they don't. They'll never tell you the truth. I don't care if you think you got the best man in the world. Don't ever say what your man won't do. Because he'll show you. He'll show you what he really about. And you got to show him who your daddy made. Y'all have a good Saturday.
Once again, the framing is always we're only responding to the men and their sexism and their misogyny, right? Did she look like she just responding to the men and their sexism? Or does she look like she's encouraging women to be sexist, little assholes regardless? Misandrous assholes regardless? Conniving, preying on men, harming men regardless? Huh? Yeah. The women are the fuel for the red pill. The women are the fuel for the manosphere. So I said this a couple of years ago to BGS. The goal is to run ahead of us and turn us into the sexist, misogynistic, misogynorist if you're black, uncles. Don't listen to Z. Z, oh, you know he part of that black manosphere. You know he's sexist. You know he hate him a woman. Oh, you know he definitely hate black women. Huh? Ew, them Negroes gay, they swap and spit. Huh? That is the goal here. That's why you had that movie with adolescents, I think it was called. What was it called? That came out, what, last year? Now there's the Manosphere documentary. All of these, I want to say it to all the technocrats, anyone who is listening, the pundits, the tastemakers, the talking heads. Huh? The reason why you will fail is because you're still not addressing the women's misbehavior, their sexist rhetoric. Huh? Their sexism, their misandry, their classism. And until that goes addressed, well, shrugs. Right? As KMS said, too much pain in the system. And let's actually find that. And yes, too much pain in the system equal red pill enrollment. And thank you for the super chat. And thank you. We're gonna address it in a minute. We're gonna address it in a minute. Thank you for the super chat, KMS. Huh? That is how you get here. That is how you get here. Your birth rate is plummeting. Less coupling between men and women. The women are encouraged to decenter men, so more hyper individuality. While the women are also encouraged to lean on community. What? To make up for not having their own individual man. Insanity. Right? And KMS, once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Talking about that, let's because Inu said something earlier, and Inu said women in their 30s making up for lost dimes. Lost dimes, or you meant to say lost times? Look, yes, but and at least if they're trying to get it together in their 30s, my apologies though. If they're trying to get it together in their 30s, that's, I mean, there's bad and worse, right? That's somewhat understandable. But what we have are gender warring women who encourage other women to decenter men, or they're antagonistic, they're mean, and they're rude. And it's not just a internet thing. We're watching this play out in real life. We literally have teachers coming online telling you, we're not playing with your sons anymore, we're not coddling them. These are teachers, right? The misandry is real. This is the fuel for the red pill and the manosphere. And thank you for the super chat, Ainu. And yes, women in their 30s making up for lost time, but still talking crap. Yeah. Still sexist as all hell. And Gregory Scotland says, hey Z, no matter how many simple-minded produced documentaries that are put on TV, the red pill and the manosphere can't be stopped. This is my point. Because what can at least tamper down the manosphere and make us actually sound like crazies is if the women weren't assholes. Ooh, goddamn Z. Welp. We could go back to KMS saying too much pain in the system. If the women weren't assholes, we wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Huh? There is a manosphere, there is a black manosphere because the women are sexist assholes. Right? Too much pain in the system. The women are sexist assholes. That's why there's a manosphere, a black manosphere, a red pill. Huh? So, for those of you just getting in, we're going to play the Anchor video one more again. Keep it rolling.
So I just watched the Manosphere Netflix documentary that just came out. What those male influencer guys are selling to young men is genuinely very dangerous.
I don't care who you are, every single person on this planet needs to go watch the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary that just came out on Netflix. It's really not that long, and I'll summarize it here for you today, but as someone who has been studying the manosphere for years now, because it has heavily impacted my life, and I knew it would eventually impact every woman's life on this planet, I'm impressed with how quickly and with empathy he got to the root of the problem I have been screaming for years. I don't think I have to explain this part, but the manosphere, or as a lot of people call it, the red pill pipeline, which we will get into, is a term for misogynistic male influencers who conduct a large audience of young men. And there are really two main takeaways he found that everything falls under. One of the biggest ones is that after interviewing some of the top guys in this industry, he discovered that they almost all grew up in very traumatic childhood homes, mostly without a stable father figure. And you really can tell because immediately when Louis Theroux, the nerd of all nerds, walks onto the scene, all of these men become extremely insecure and very nervous. And instead of going to therapy and getting help for all of that, they are projecting all of their trauma onto young men, which would explain why a lot of what they preach is a toxic distrust of traditional systems, because the traditional home failed them as a child. They also exploit this wound in a lot of their audience to preach a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. And the main one they preach is that the traditional 9-to-5 values life is like the Matrix pyramid scheme that men are trapped in, where people from the top benefit off of them. And it teaches them that feminism is designed to work against them, so if they just take the red pill, they'll be saved, which is an excellent way to deflect any accountability, which is what's maybe most ironic, because then they set up their own pyramid schemes and coaching systems or whatever to funnel these young men directly into. And as Louis Theroux discovered when going and looking up all the brokers and trying to use these systems who make money the way they promise these young men, they lost all the money they invested in it. You probably already guessed the hypocrisy that applies there also applies to their views on women and dating. It's very ironic that they openly preach that they hate you-know-what models while still owning entire groups that manage them, and then sell them back to these young men and then teach those young men to hate those women. And when he really started questioning and pressing these men on these double standards, they all started folding quickly. And in a genius move, he brought their girlfriends or mothers into the conversation, and the moment a woman they respected was around, they switched up their tune immediately. And they openly admitted that they don't practice what they preach, and all of what they sell is actually just to make money. Which brings us to big point number 2. They pretty much admit that everything they're selling these young men is a lie because it's a clickbait economy, and that's how they make money. I mean, obviously most of the men were single. This guy's girlfriend left him in the middle of the documentary because she didn't realize the extent of all of this. And the men who did have girls in their videos admitted what I've been saying for years is that offline they don't actually practice what they preach to these young men, because if they did, they wouldn't get girls. They intentionally give these young men bad advice so that they stay in their pyramid schemes.
Yeah. And Pastor OG says, not even trying to understand what young men are dealing with, not even trying. Young men are getting hit with foodie calls. A third of women admit to foodie calls. So you know it's more. Huh? I agree with Pastor OG. She's not even trying to understand what's going on. Play the clip, Z.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs.
Okay.
You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3.
Huh? That is why there is a red pill, the fuel for the red pill. That is why there is a manosphere, the fuel for the manosphere. I played this earlier today. Let's play it again. Parental alienation. That is why there is a red pill. Continuing.
I'm about to be extremely vulnerable because this might help someone. I've never been this vulnerable online in like ever, okay? I believe you are as sick as your secrets, and saying things out loud helps free you. So my parents were married and then they had me. I guess their marriage was difficult, so they later got divorced. I don't know why, I don't know the details. All I know is that they separated, so I used to be with my mother 1 week, and then I'll go be with my father the next week, okay? So back and forth. 1 week, my dad never showed up to come and pick me up. I sat by the door, literally waiting and waiting. He never showed up. The following week, I did the same thing. I did this for months, okay? He never came. So I felt so rejected, okay? I still quite literally turn into that little girl when I talk about it. It has changed the trajectory of my life, okay? So I didn't find out until literally recently as an adult that my father did not abandon me. My mother cut him off because she was afraid that he was gonna take me from her. So I literally had to grow up without a father, thinking that my father didn't love me. So I would go on dating these men who were amazing to me. I've had wonderful relationships, and I would literally feel like the love was never enough because my father didn't love me. How could another man love me? So it just fucked me up, okay? Like for good. So this is why I chose the man that I chose to have a baby with. Like everything truly makes sense. And my grandmother tells me this, and I was angry at my mom. Angry, okay? Because how dare you be that stuff fucking selfish and not think of me? You don't think I wanted to have my father? I've forgiven her now. I've made peace with it. But that's why I feel so strongly about cutting parents or cutting the other person off. You don't get to fucking do that. You don't, okay? Because like I said, it scarred me. And now my father is dead, and it haunts me for the rest of my life. Because I literally grew up thinking he didn't want me. That wasn't the case. He was coming. They were returning him. And I was sitting there by that door, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and he never showed up. And I hope this brings me some type of closure, because it literally eats at me all the time, still to this day.
That is a woman describing her mother engaging in parental alienation. This is why there is a red pill. This is why there's a manosphere. Because too many of you don't address that. And if you do, you minimize it. Because the way your politics is organized is that there has to be an oppressor class, and the masses of men are the oppressor class. Now, there's not classes of men. There's not an oppressor class of men. Oh, wait, y'all might acknowledge that there's an oppressor class of men, but then all of us men are trying to be the oppressor class of men, elite rich white men, apparently. And so whatever issues we're going through gets dismissed because you're trying to be the oppressor anyway. So I ain't gonna help you with what you got going on, because if you get up there, then you're gonna be oppressing us. Yeah, that part. This is why there is a manosphere and a red pill.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date.
What?
I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to. You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make $50,000, but you live in a shoe, and now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's gonna date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have that expectation, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts, because eventually you're gonna want to run, because she doesn't stretch you. She doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be the stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat, they can't address or ask why, because that leads straight to the women. Exactly. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. That's exactly why. Huh? That is exactly why. And thank you, sir. And No Hero says, "Damn Z, you said everything I've been thinking. Thank you." Right? I try. Right? I'm gonna watch that documentary. I just wanted to kind of give my kind of response to the, and I'm gonna probably clip out a bit of what the link that I have in the description box. But and then I'll we'll do a review stream maybe coming up next week sometime, maybe the end of next week. We'll actually watch it, and maybe how am I going to speak about this without, I'll probably give like timestamps, right? Because what we see going on here is just, it's not even ignorance. It's like being obtuse, right? It's like ignoring the facts. It's not ignorance, it's ignoring. Your society is going left because the US dollar is waning. US hegemony is waning. It's done. US hegemony is waning. America has to reorient itself. And the wealthy took all the money off the table over the past 40 some odd 50 years. Not only did they take all the money off the table, they took the opportunities, the dreams. Shout out to Dr. Richard Reeves with his book Dream Hoarders. That does not mean that working class people and lower middle class and working poor won't still laugh and enjoy their life and have happy moments and tender moments and all of the good stuff and have moments where they enjoy their life. What it does mean is it just became so much more expensive to live out the American dream and to hit those certain milestones, including, wait for it, marriage, a sign of stability, a sign that you have reached the end of adulting. Marriage is no longer at the beginning as you walk into being an adult. It is at the end of adulting and going through that process. Huh? And instead of the left having an honest conversation with the men, the overproducers, they would much rather attempt to chastise them, shame them, into being these good little cucks for women and elite men. This society would much rather lie to the men, the young men in specific, that they could make up for this women's hypergamy with notions of being emotionally intelligent, kind, thoughtful, engaging in domestic labor, in general being a air quotes good person. Huh? This will not work. This is not sustainable. I need to bring back This Is Not Sustainable. I haven't seen it in a while. Huh? So let's do this. Let's acknowledge our two newest members, Big O, right? And KMS, our two newest members. Shout out to them. As I said before, once I get, so that makes what, 15? Okay, we're gonna need 10 more. Once I get to 25 members, I'm gonna start doing live streams for members only. Do not worry, everyone. Mr. Z is not going to start doing half of my streams being members only. That's BS. I don't believe in it. But we will be reserving certain streams for members only, and what I'll do to kind of still do my subscribers a solid is like maybe snip out certain parts and make those pre-records or not pre-records, just put them as regular videos, so that way everybody still eat, but definitely the members will really appreciate certain segments, obviously. And you know, we still gonna look out. Yeah, I just do. Yeah, shout out to all the people that do it that way. Cool. Trell, I feel like I owe you a few dollars. And Trell said, call it pit lane only. Pit lane. And you've been saying that for a while. I'm really gonna call it pit lane. Right. Goes with the theme of the channel. Vince, I can't make that a members only because I've been talking about it for too long. And shout out to Buckeye Fan. And Vince says, no scrubs coming soon. Yeah, that one definitely has to be a live stream for everyone because I've been talking about it too long. And I should have did this 2 years ago. So when we finally get to it, and shout out to Compassion and Callous, I got to do the Powell memo also. See, the Powell memo I might be able to pull the Powell memo on members only. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. And but Dre says, sorry about that. Dre says, since when did you start memberships? If you don't have Popeye's biscuits and chicken and was this bandage, I'm gonna report you. I will not be serving Popeyes on the membership table, right? We try to stay fit, and yeah. We look, Mr. Z. I'm not joking. I haven't had Popeyes in like a month and a half, y'all. So yeah, am I feeling withdrawals? No, I haven't had Wingstop in a month too. Wingstop and Popeyes Z. I know. No withdrawals, everyone. We still good. We still stand. We're not scratching our neck. We're not full on addicts, right? Do miss the chicken and Popeye's fries, though. We're going to stop talking about before Mr. Z relapse. Right? We'll figure it out. Maybe Mr. Z gets Popeyes once every 3 months or something. Right? Maybe something like that. Charles said 2 weeks without churches. Right? But yeah, so I was trying to find the one video to kind of use as a reference for these two. Let me see. Let me play the anchor video. Z, how many times are you gonna play this anchor video? Look, we are doing something here, people. Yeah, continuing.
So I just watched the Manosphere Netflix documentary that just came out. What those male influencer guys are selling to young men is genuinely very dangerous.
I don't care who you are, every single person on this planet needs to go watch the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary that just came out on Netflix. It's really not that long, and I'll summarize it here for you today, but as someone who has been studying the Manosphere for years now because it has heavily impacted my life, and I knew it would eventually impact every woman's life on this planet, I'm impressed with how quickly and with empathy he got to the root of the problem I have been screaming for years. I don't think I have to explain this part, but the Manosphere, or as a lot of people call it, the red pill pipeline, which we will get into, is a term for misogynistic male influencers who conduct a large audience of young men. And there are really two main takeaways he found that everything falls under. One of the biggest ones is that after interviewing some of the top guys in this industry, he discovered that they almost all grew up in very traumatic childhood homes, mostly without a stable father figure. And you really can tell because immediately when Louis Theroux, the nerd of all nerds, walks on the scene, all of these men become extremely insecure and very nervous. And instead of going to therapy and getting help for all of that, they are projecting all of their trauma onto young men, which would explain why a lot of what they preach is a toxic distrust of traditional systems, because the traditional home failed them as a child. They also exploit this wound in a lot of their audience to preach a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. And the main one they preach is that the traditional 9-to-5 values life is like the Matrix pyramid scheme that men are trapped in, where people from the top benefit off of them. And it teaches them that feminism is designed to work against them, so if they just take the red pill, they'll be saved, which is an excellent way to deflect any accountability, which is what made most ironic, because then they set up their own pyramid schemes and coaching systems or whatever to funnel these young men directly into. And as Louis Theroux discovered when going and looking up all the brokers and trying to use these systems to make money the way they promise these young men, they lost all the money they invested in it. You probably already guessed the hypocrisy that applies there also applies to their views on women and dating.
Okay. And KMS says red pill equals system disruptor, because the red pill is how you find out about foodie calls.
Going for dinner and drinks may not be as innocent as you might think. A study published in the Society for Personality and Social Psychology found that up to a third of women go on dates just for the free food. Aww. They call these foodie calls, When someone has no romantic interest in their date, they're going strictly for the food.
Yikes.
All right, we asked our viewers if you've ever done this. Have you ever gone on a date just for free food?
Her eyes look suspicious as hell to me.
You have gone on a foodie call. You said yes. Say it isn't so, Dr. Batra.
I mean, it sounds like what? A fourth to a third of women are admitting to this, which usually means even more are doing it. So
have you ever done it?
And a third of men expect to have sex if they buy you dinner.
Well, so that's the really interesting thing. So the reason, perfect segue, I've never done this, is because whenever someone pays for you, there's an expectation.
We don't believe
so I
you.
think women just think, oh, I'm going to go. It's going to be this great meal. And the guy's like, I just paid big bucks. I expect a return on my investment. So you have to be really careful.
Hopefully this is all a bit more innocent and it's, oh, I don't love
Stop
the
it.
guy that much, but
Stop
you never
it.
know. And hey,
You're being way too
a
generous.
free meal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't have that problem anymore.
maybe you go on a date, make a foodie call, but you find out you really like the person.
Stop. Huh? Once again, foodie calls. Huh? We addressed this already. But yeah, so that is why there's a red pill. The fuel for the red pill is being on the wrong side of a woman's foodie call. That is why there's a red pill. And St. Cyr says, and thank you for the super chat, you catch more flies with honey, and y'all wonder why men ain't at these single events. Mean asses. Bro, they can't help but be mean. They encourage each other to be mean.
Being mean will keep them in line. Being nice will break your spine. You need to get rid of that nice girl shit and start being mean. Mean to a man is so fun. I don't know why you so afraid. The man is treating you like shit now anyway. You think that man worrying about how you feeling? You think that man second guessing what he's doing to you? No. But yet you overthinking over there. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should say this. He may leave. Look how the man is treating you already. Do you think he'd give a fuck? For real. This man is breaking you down. But yet you lifting his ass up. You need to allow these men to go through the ringer. Let their ass get burnt. Well, how
y'all hearing her?
That? Whatever he's saying, you don't listen. You look at his actions. Watch his actions. Okay, he said he's going to take me out, and he never did. Bye. His ass just got burnt. See? You being strict, block. Oh, he said he's going to call me back, but he never did. I haven't heard from him in weeks. Block. He just burnt his ass. See what I'm saying? You got to let them go through the ringer. You're not letting them get burnt. You want them to go in the ringer so smoothly, and that's by him doing everything he said he was going to do for you. His actions need to match his words. His words need to match his actions. That's the only way he can't get his ass burnt. He's going through that ringer smoothly. But if he's going through the ringer with his ass burning, baby, he failed. He failed. Bye. Have a good night.
Once again, the framing is always, it's a response to misogyny. Even when they're encouraging women to be harmful towards men. not the disco era wig, and Latrell said Donna Summer's looking. Oh. Can't mess. I ain't messing with you. I ain't even gonna acknowledge that comment. Right? Oh man. And I will read this super chat though. These chicks do realize, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. These chicks do realize that a trick can spot a hoe from a million miles away. So if all they want is cash, hashtag bind fixing. Look, I think the masses of women don't actually want to be treated like they're on the stroll. They want the money, but they want to feel special. And even if the box is on the table to be bought, your average woman, I would argue, doesn't want it to be pure transactional. Huh? Pure. I'm talking about this one, KMS. That's why. Because I already remember what we were talking about, right? But yeah, they don't want it pure transactional. That's what I would say to that. Because I don't think most women are built for pure transactional situation. Not how they've been socialized for the past couple centuries. You have to be socialized into just, hey, this is what it is. Just, especially if it's hard transaction, that's what we're speaking of, right? But yeah, a trick could definitely spot a hoe from a million miles away. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yep. And No Hero says pure transaction, they would lose. Huh? They would definitely lose. Especially if you flooded the market with that, they would lose. The issue we have now is simple. The status competition is insane. And no one really has the answers outside of the manosphere and black manosphere. Black manosphere. And so what the left presents is whimsical. The men can emotionally intelligent their way out of their daughter's hypergamy.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you single?
Yes.
Why are you single right now?
Because the men are not enough rich to take care of me.
So you're looking for a rich man?
Yes. Yes, I want to be spoiled.
Why does he have to be rich?
Because I want to be spoiled. Because I make my own money and I need to be dominated.
I make my own money. I need to be dominated. The men are not rich enough for me. Enough richer than me, however she was trying to say it. That's the part of the conversation that they get squeamish. That's the part that the left especially doesn't want to acknowledge. How many women think and feel like this and often say it? This is your issue. Huh? So the red pill's fuel, the manosphere fuel is the behavior and the rhetoric of the women. Y'all could put out whatever. Shout out to Gregory Scotland. Yes, Mr. Scotland, if you're still listening, they could put out whatever hit piece. They could put out whatever quote unquote think piece, feel piece. Shout out to Indigo Flow. And it will mean nothing because your sons just have to have that one or two experiences and it's over. Y'all could try to flood the zone. Shout out to racist ass Steve Bannon. Y'all can try to flood the zone with as much of this corny ass, these men are sexist, these men, they hate women, they hate their moms, they hate themselves, and inferiority complex. Y'all could try to flood the zone with that as much as possible. The yin and the yang, men and women, right? The issue you have is the women want patriarchy by feminist specifications. And the second the women go to talking like that, the men said, I bet prison rules. Huh? This is when y'all parachute in and start calling. Myron wouldn't have a leg to stand on if he couldn't get women on. And the field piece, funny enough, that I have in the description box, the young lady says that like these women in Miami, look, Mr. Z is down here. We have smart, educated women here too. It's not just a bunch of bimbos and airheads and tourists. Cut it out. Number one. Number two, y'all forgot that the women are flying in. How often does Fresh and Fit have tourists on? From all around the world. Say the uncomfortable thing, Z. Your daughters think like this too. It's not just a bunch of bimbos in Miami. Cut it out. Huh? The fuel for the red pill and the manosphere are your daughters. We could cut our commentary today. Everyone in the black manosphere, everyone in the manosphere, from the Rolos to the Mr. Z's, we could cut our commentary and just play the videos of your daughters all day. That right there, red pill. That'll red pill these young men so quick. Huh? That would red pill the young men so quickly. It's your daughter speaking. And so, y'all, we ain't gonna keep y'all too long. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I wanted to play some of these clips. I wanted to respond to the link in the description box and to the clip I keep on spamming, because these are hit pieces. You're gonna, I would argue, we're gonna get one or two of these a day. I mean, a day. Ooh, not a day. Ooh, one or two of these a year. Because adolescents, didn't they just review that last year or the year before? Right? I think they spoke of that when that was last year. That was 2025 when adolescents came out. I get it. These people are trying to sound the alarm because the ones that are supposed to overproduce, the men, aren't doing it. They're not engaging. And so it's the manosphere. It's they're radicalizing the young men. The manosphere is not radicalizing us. Well, let me take that back. I don't know what the white boys are on over there. The white guys over there, I don't know what they on. But the black manosphere is not radicalizing your sons. Your daughters are radicalizing your sons. Well, damn. Huh? The black manosphere is not radicalizing your sons. Your daughters and the women and the girls and the female teachers and the female professors, the weirdo movies, social media with the women talking is what's radicalizing your boys. And I don't even think, particularly for the black men and boys, they're not even being radicalized. They are moving accordingly. They are moving accordingly. Huh? Well, let's read this now. And Otis says, they may not be ready for pure transactional relationships, but they will have to deal with it because they are sowing all those seeds to it. Yeah, I think so. I think, to be fair, and shout out to Armio Sip Frimpong. I put a link to one of his most recent think pieces in my community tab. If we're gonna be generous to the ladies, God damn it, Z, I hate when you do this. I know. If we're gonna be generous to the ladies, they are responding to a toxic economic environment. Right? The issue is they're responding inappropriately and sticking their nose up and their middle finger up to everyday salt of the earth men, particularly in the black community. Huh? But I do agree with you, Otis, that the end result of this is still the end result. Yitches on the blade. I didn't use the B, y'all. Yitches on the blade. That's the end result. 10 toes, 20 toes, 30 toes, 40 toes, 50 toes on the blade. Huh? So, regardless of how these folks try to shame the black manosphere, insult the black manosphere, run ahead of the black manosphere to make us seem all type of sexist. The red pill and the manosphere, black manosphere in specific, exist. Why did I say believe? Exist because the ladies, right? And Otis, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Man, I see you, Big Mo. Right? Rest in peace, pimp. And so, on that note, everyone, we will pause right here. I have to watch the documentary, and then we will do a review on the documentary, and we will see how much of a fool Myron and them made of themselves. And it still won't set back much. It still won't set back much, I would argue, simply because every day there's a new video, every day there's a new IRL, real life interaction. And women and girls are not the only ones having unpleasant interactions with the opposite sex. Dinner dates gone bad. Being stood up. That's not exclusive female sport. Huh? So let me actually see what you put, Big Mo, because give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, I got you, Big Mo. Big Mo put the Ric Flair up, right? So on that note, y'all, we'll pause right here. Like I said earlier, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. We got in and out in about an hour and a half. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. But the fuel for the red pill, once again, everyone, is truly the behavior, the rhetoric, the comportment of the ladies. And I'll end on that. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Mr. Z out.
You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.